Okay, last video of this series. We do have all those beams. Remember, it's not concrete; it's metal. That's the little change I made at the end. We need to tag, and we need another structural level, 102. So how do we do that? It's as simple as we need to add another view here. So we go to View, Plan View, Structural Plans, and we need to select second floor. Say OK. It appears here. And obviously this doesn't look like the proper way of showing a structural plan. We always need to apply a template, structural framing plan, to visualize structural plan properly. So you say, okay, now everything has all those beams properly set. Okay. As I said before, you have to most probably go to Find View to see the level of the definition that you want. Another thing that this type of structural templates show is the plan that you're dealing with, but also the plan underneath. See how you see the concrete here and even the column? Well, I only want to show the level right underneath. So most of the times you have to go to View Range and change this bottom floor to actually the second floor and apply. And you see how everything is cleaner now. I only see the metal beams and the columns, etc., not information from the lower level. Now we need tagging. For tagging, again, is annotate, tag all, structural framing, and tag. So everything looks nice. You don't have any information here because this is above. This is in the bottom of the truss. It's 23 feet above. This is only the structural elements that we have at this level. Another thing is that, as you can see, the grids in these levels are not looking, well, this one is looking fresh, but I created a new plan, and the grids are not looking good. So remember that we can always select everything here, filter out everything except the grids, to propagate into the structural plan second floor. You say OK. And now the second floor composite in the structure is properly organized. So the propagate is very important to somehow match visualization criteria of the grid configuration. Okay. So that will be your S102 level 2. It's pretty much dragging this view into that sheet. Okay. You can change the scale obviously, and the tags will change with it, and crop the rest, and this is what you will show. Again, it's not exactly the same as what we're doing. We have like a different piece here. It's essentially the same concept. Okay, tagging is the same, and this is the calculation. I think it just jumped to time, so I'm going to do a couple of examples very fast. First, we need to know the span. So I'm going to just put a couple dimensions, and you might even have it already. Okay, we have 20 and 6 and 24 and 10. So 24 and 10, it goes up to 26. We are above 24. Okay, for every 26 span, we should use in the interior beams a 1461. Now, I don't know if you have this actually in another window. I mean, I have to kind of remember, or I take another window the dimensions. Let me go through it. Here is. So the 24 is 1438 for interior, and for the edge is going to be 1835. So I pretty much come here, select the beam that is exterior to 2410, sorry, which is going to be 26, and we just need to load other wireframes. So you say edit, you can duplicate. Actually, you can go to beams, load family, and search under framings. Still, you can go at the bottom to the white flange and select all the types after you have annotated them. So let's go to, for example, 1461. You go down, scroll. 1461, that's one I want. 1846. 1846, good. I also, okay, let's just say okay for that. Now I can select the beams and just change them. I have 1846, this is edge at 26, sorry, edge at 24, which comes to 26, has to be 1846. So you select 1846, changes the tag with it. Now the interior, on the other hand, for 26 is 1461, so you just go there, select, it says 1461 and changes the tag. I do know that all the interiors with this pan, and I'm shifting to deselect that, make sure that the filter is properly set, and change them to be 1461. I also know that all of these ones are the same span, so I can select that, shift to deselect the grids, 1461, all of these guys. Now the edge condition for all those has to be an 1846. Okay, 1846. Good. Let's do another one. 26. 26 is above 20, so we go to 24. And we're going to use 1438 and 1835. So I will recommend do beam, load. Again, we go down. It's probably better you annotate all the ones that you need and just dragging them all together. I'm going to say framing, still, at the bottom, white planes, and here's where I have to remember 1438. So you search for the 1438. Here. You press Control to get the next one, 1835. Control. Say OK. They come inside. And now is the moment where you start changing. This is a edge condition, so we need 1835. Huh? So you could select all of them by pressing Control. You could even select these ones as well, because they're the same span and also edge. And make them 1835. Changes the tag. Good. Now all of these ones, here, 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 filter out everything except the framing and change them to 1438, no? Got it. We're missing obviously the center one, but I think it's the same dimension, so it would be a matter of selecting and changing quite fast. That's happening only in the lab in this little entry building. Okay, so you just have to follow this grid carefully and assigning the dimensions of the beams depending on the span. That's you could again download all of the types and just start selecting very fast and changing them. You don't need to duplicate in this case because they exist as default already. So you just load it in and select the ones that are existing there. Okay. Good. This is the changing process. We're going to have these problems, obviously. If you want to see those problems in the 3D, it's mainly that we're going to have here walls. So if I turn everything, the light bulb. Somebody asked, how do I turn on things? I think that was you. So when you turn on the sun, let's call everything is turned on with the light bulb. You can select things and right-click, unhide, category or element or whatever. So that's the process. I'm not going to do it because I still miss one important step, and it's duplicating or copying all these beams and columns of the lab upwards. So that would be as simple as in the 3D selecting everything, pressing Control. Again, I'm selecting only the beams and the columns, nothing else, nothing from underneath. You can even make sure that we only have those two. And there's this way of copying and pasting. After you select something, you can have the copy, not Ctrl-C, doesn't work the same way. And you can expand with the triangle of paste and say, align to selected levels. All the levels that you have created in your project will be mentioned here. So I think this level is second floor, so we need to say third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and roof. Say OK. It's going to be a little bit slow because there's a lot of geometry. But it should do it. There you go. One thing wrong, if you're now checking this video, just Ctrl+C that, do it again, select again the top beams, Control, select the bottom columns. I'm going to say make sure that everything is properly set, copy, paste to assign levels, level 3. Deselect, do the same only for the lab building beams and columns, and do it again, copy, paste, assign to levels. We have it in the third, so we're going to fourth, fifth, sixth, roof. I'm doing this because this entry building only has 2 floors. The lab building has those 8 floors. It's coming along. There you go. You see how that has 2 levels? Don't worry about whether these ones are connecting with that one's properly or not. The roof of the atrium is going to be quite higher, and we're going to change that later on. But it's important that you have this grid of structure for the lab already. Okay. Again, these problems will be solved later on as we go. And as mentioned, next Monday this is done.